So the Trojans and Greeks were left to carry on the grim struggle without divine interference, and the battle kept swaying this way and that across the plain as volleys of bronze-headed spears were exchanged, midway between the river Simois and the streams of Scamander. Ajax, son of Telamon, a tower of strength to the Greeks, was the first to break the Trojan line and give his friends the scent of victory when he hit the best fighter that the Thracians had, the tall and splendid Acamas. Ajax hit him on the ridge of his plumed helmet. The bronze spear hit him on the forehead and pierced right through the bone, and darkness engulfed his eyes. Next, Diomedes, master of the battle cry, killed Axylus, who came from well-built Arisbe. He was a man of substance, with a wide circle of friends. He lived in a house by the roadside and entertained everyone. But none of these friends came forward now to tackle the enemy for him and save him from an ugly end. Diomedes killed the pair of them, him and his attendant Calesius, who was serving as his charioteer, and they both sank to the world below. Euryalus killed Dressus and Opheltius, and then raced after Aesopus and Pedasus, whom the water nymph Barbaria had borne to match this Bucolion. Bucolion was a son of proud Laomedon, the first child Laomedon had born in secret. Bucolion was shepherding his flocks when he met the nymph and made love to her. She conceived and bore him twin boys. But Euryalus ended their resistance, laid low their bright young limbs, and stripped the armour from their shoulders. Resolute Polypoetes slaughtered Astyalus. Odysseus killed Paidates of Percote with his bronze spear, as did Teucer the godlike Areteon. Antilochus, son of Nestor, killed Ablerus with his glittering spear, and Agamemnon, lord of men, slew Elatus, who lived by the banks of sweet Satniois in steep Pedasus. The warrior Laetus killed Phylacus in mid-flight. Eurypylus dispatched Melanthius. Meanwhile, Menelaus, master of the battle cry, had captured Adestrus alive. This man's pair of horses, bolting across the plain, had become entangled in a tamarisk bush, snapped off the shaft where it was fixed to the curved body of the chariot, and galloped off on their own toward the town, where the rest had stampeded off in panic. Adestrus himself was thrown out of the chariot, beside the wheel, flat on his face in the dust, and soon he had Menelaus, son of Atreus, standing over him with a long-shadowed spear in his hand. Adestrus threw his arms around Menelaus's knees and supplicated him, "Son of Atreus, take me alive, and you will get a ransom that will well be worth it. My father is rich and has plenty of treasure in his house. Bronze and gold and wrought iron. He would offer you an immense ransom if he heard I had been taken back to the Greek ships alive." So he spoke, and Menelaus was inclined to agree. And indeed, he was just about to tell his attendant to take him back to the fast Greek ships when Agamemnon came running up, shouting disapprovingly, "Menelaus, my soft-hearted brother, why are you so concerned for these men? Did the Trojans treat you as handsomely when they stayed in your palace? No. We are not going to leave a single one of them alive, down to the babies in their mothers' wombs. Not even they must live. The whole people must be wiped out of existence, with none to shed a tear for them, leaving no trace." With this sound advice, Agamemnon made Menelaus change his mind. He pushed the warrior Adestrus away from him with his hand, and Lord Agamemnon stabbed him in the flank. The man fell on his back, and Agamemnon put his foot on his chest and drew out the ash spear. Nestor then called out to the Greeks in a loud voice, "Friends, Greek warriors, servants of the war god Ares, no looting now, no lingering behind to get back to the ships with the biggest share. Let us kill Trojans, Afterwards, at your leisure, you can strip the dead on the battlefield." With these words he put fresh heart and courage into every man, and it looked as though the Trojans, weakened and demoralized, would be driven back into Ilium by the war-loving Greeks. But at this point, Priam's son Helenus, the best prophet in Troy, went up to Aeneas and Hector and said, "Aeneas and Hector, more than all the other Trojans and Lycianians together, you two bear the brunt of the fighting, because, whatever the enterprise, you have never failed us in the council chamber or on the battlefield. Now make a stand here, visit every part of the battlefield yourselves, and regroup the troops in front of the gates before they run for it. Fall into their women's arms and make the enemy happy men. When you two have rallied all our forces, we'll stand our ground and fight the Greeks here. Exhausted though we are, we have no choice in the matter. Meanwhile, Hector, go into the town and speak to our mother. Tell her to collect the older women at the temple of the grey-eyed Athene on the town's heights, and unlock the doors of the holy shrine. Let her choose a robe from her palace, the loveliest and biggest she can find in the house, and the one most precious to her, and lay it on the knees of lovely-haired Athene, and let her promise to sacrifice in her shrine a 12-year-old heifers that have never worked. If only she will have pity on the town and on the Trojans' wives and little children, and keep that savage spearman and master of the rout Diomedes clear of sacred Ilium. He, in my opinion, is now our most powerful Greek adversary. We were never so terrified even of Achilles, leader of men, and said to be a goddess's son. But Diomedes here is quite uncontrollable, and not a man can hold him." So he spoke, and Hector complied. Fully armed, he immediately leapt from his chariot to the ground, and brandishing a pair of sharp spears, he went everywhere among his men, urging them to fight and rousing their spirit for grim battle. As a result, the Trojans turned and faced the Greeks, who now gave ground and killed no more of the enemy. Indeed, the Trojans rallied so effectively that the Greeks thought some god must have come down from the starry sky to help them. Hector then called out to the Trojans in a loud voice, "Proud Trojans and famous allies, be men, my comrades, and call up that fighting spirit of yours, while I go to Ilium to tell our elders and our wives to pray to the gods and promise them a sacrifice." With these words, Hector of the flashing helmet went off toward the town. As he walked, the dark leather rim of the bossed shield slung over his shoulder tapped him above and below, on the ankles and on the back of the neck. Glaucus, son of Hippolochus, and Diomedes, son of Tydeus, now approached one another in the space between the two armies, determined to do battle. When they had come within range of each other, Diomedes, master of the battle cry, spoke first. "What mortal man are you, sir? I have not seen you in battle where men win glory, till now, yet in facing the long-shadowed spear in my hand, you have shown far greater courage than any of your comrades. Pity those fathers whose sons face me in my fury. But if you are one of the immortals descended from Olympus, I am not the man to fight against the gods of the skies. Why, not even powerful Lycurgus, Dryas' son, survived his quarrel with the gods of the skies for very long. This murderous Lycurgus chased the nurses of the wild god Dionysus down from the holy hills of Nysa, and they all scattered the god's emblems to the ground as he struck them with his ox goad. Dionysus fled and found sanctuary under the salt sea waves where the sea nymph Thetis took him to her bosom, terrified and shaking violently from Lycurgus' threats. But the immortals who live at ease resented what Lycurgus had done, and Zeus struck him blind. He did not live long after that, since all the immortals hated him, so I will not be fighting against the blessed gods. But if you are one of us mortals who eat the fruit of the earth, Come on, and sooner your fate will be sealed. Glaucus, glorious son of Hippolochus, spoke. Great-hearted Diomedes, why ask after my family? The family of man is like the leaves of the trees. The wind scatters them on the ground, but the trees burst into bud and grow fresh leaves when the spring comes round. So with the family of man. One generation grows, the other fades. But if you really wish to learn about my family, I will tell you. Most people know the story already. There is a town called Ephyre, in a corner of Argos where the horses graze. Here lived a man called Sisyphus, a man as crafty as they come. Aeolus was his father's name. Sisyphus had a son called Glaucus, and Glaucus in his turn was father of matchless Bellerophon. The gods endowed Bellerophon with fine looks and every desirable manly virtue. But Zeus made him subject to Proetus from Argos, who was far more powerful, and Proetus, who had trouble in mind for Bellerophon, expelled him from the town. The reason was that Proetus' wife, godlike Antea, was mad for him to make secret love to her, but prudent Bellerophon was a man of sound principles and refused, so Antea went to Lord Proetus with a lying tale and said, Proetus, Bellerophon wanted to seduce me, but I refused. Kill him, or may you die yourself. So she spoke, and Proetus was enraged at what he heard. He stopped short of putting Bellerophon to death. He did not think it right to do so, but instead sent him off to Lycia, carrying a fatal message, a folded tablet on which he had written signs with a deadly meaning. Proetus told Bellerophon to hand this tablet to his father-in-law, the ruler of Lycia, thus ensuring Bellerophon's death. The journey was smoothly overseen by the gods, and when Bellerophon reached Lycia and the flowing river Xanthus, he was welcomed as an honoured guest by the ruler of those broad lands. His host entertained him for 9 days and slaughtered an ox every day. But when rosy-fingered dawn rose for the 10th day, he questioned Bellerophon, asked to see what message he had brought from Proetus, and was given the tablet with fatal instructions that Proetus had sent. The Lycian ruler's first step was to order Bellerophon to kill the raging Chimera, a creature born of the gods, not men. She had a lion's head, a serpent's tail, and the body of a goat, and her breath came out in terrible blasts of burning flame. But Bellerophon let himself be guided by the gods and succeeded in killing her. His second mission was to fight the illustrious Solymi. Bellerophon spoke of that as the most terrific battle he had ever fought against men. And by the way of the third task, he killed the Amazons, women who were a match for men. But the ruler of Lycia thought of something different and set a clever trap to catch him on his return from his adventure. He picked out the best men in all Lycia and stationed them in ambush. Not one of them came home. Matchless Bellerophon killed them all. In the end, he realized Bellerophon was a true son of the gods, so he kept him in Lycia and gave him his daughter's hand and half his kingdom, while the Lycians also sectioned off a piece of their best land with rich vineyards and cornfields for him to cultivate. Bellerophon's wife bore him 3 children, Isander, Hippolochus, and Laodamea, who slept with Zeus, wise in counsel, and became the mother of the godlike warrior Sarpedon. But the time came when Bellerophon incurred the enmity of all the gods, and wandered off in solitude across the Ilian plain, eating his heart out and avoiding all contact with men. Ares, the insatiable war god, killed his son Isander in battle with the illustrious Solymi, and Artemis, whose chariot has golden reins, killed Laodamea in anger. That left Hippolochus, and they say I am his son. He sent me to Troy and often used to tell me always to be the best and excel all others and never disgrace our forefathers, who were by far the best men in Ephyre and Lycia. That then is my family. That is the blood I claim as mine. So he spoke, and Glaucus' tale delighted Diomedes, master of the battle cry. He stuck his spear into the bountiful earth and warmly addressed this shepherd of the people. Surely your family and mine are linked by old established ties. Godlike Oeneus, my grandfather, once entertained matchless Bellerophon in his palace and kept him there for 20 days, after which they gave each other the usual splendid gifts that host and guest exchange. Oeneus gave Bellerophon a belt bright with purple, and Bellerophon gave Oeneus a gold 2-handled cup, which I left behind at home when I set out here for Troy. As for my father Tydeus, however, I don't remember him, as I was only a baby when he joined the Greek expedition that was destroyed at Thebes. So now you will have a good friend in me in the heart of Argos, and I shall have you in Lycia if ever I visit that country. So let us avoid each other's spears, even in the tumult of battle, since there are plenty of other Trojans and their famous allies for me to kill, if the gods provide them and I have the speed to catch them, and plenty of Greeks for you to slaughter, if you can. And let us exchange our armour, so that everyone will know our grandfather's friendship has made friends of us. With these words they leapt from their chariots, took each other by the hand, and gave their word of honour. But Zeus robbed Glaucus of his wits, since he exchanged his golden armour for Diomedes' bronze, 100 oxen's worth for the value of 9. Meanwhile Hector had reached the oak tree at the Scaean gate, and was at once besieged by Trojan wives and daughters, running up to ask about their sons and brothers, their husbands and their friends. He told them all in turn to pray to the gods. Grief was in store for many. Then he made his way to Priam's magnificent palace. It was fronted with rows of polished columns, and in the main building behind there were 50 apartments of polished stone adjoining each other, where Priam's sons slept with their wives. His daughters had separate quarters on the other side of the courtyard, where 12 adjoining bedrooms had been built for them, of polished stone and well-roofed in. Here Priam's son-in-law slept with their honoured wives. Hector was met at the palace by his gentle, generous mother Hecabe, who was coming in with Laodice, the most beautiful of her daughters. Putting her hand in his, she said, "Hector, why have you left the brave conflict to come here, my child? Is it true, then, that those hateful Greeks are getting the better of us in the fighting round the town? And your spirit moved you to return here and lift your hands in prayer to Zeus on the town's heights? But wait a moment while I fetch you some sweet wine, so that you can first make a libation to Father Zeus and the other immortals, and then, if you like, refresh yourself with a drink as well. Wine is a great comfort to a weary man, and you must be exhausted after fighting so hard for your loved ones." Great Hector of the flashing helmet replied, "My lady mother, don't bring me any delicious wine, or you will deprive me of my strength and leave me unfit to fight. And I shrink from offering Zeus sparkling wine with unwashed hands. A man cannot pray to Zeus, who darkens the clouds, when he is bespattered with blood and filth. No, it is you who must pray. Collect the older women, and go with offerings to the temple of the war leader Athene. Choose a robe, the loveliest and biggest you can find in the house, and one most precious to you, and lay it on the knees of lovely-haired Athene. Promise to sacrifice in her shrine a 12-year-old heifers that have never worked, if only she will have pity on the town and on the Trojans' wives and little children, and keep that savage spearman and mighty master of the rout, Diomedes, clear of sacred Ilium. Go, then, to the war leader Athene's shrine, while I go after Paris and order him out, though I doubt he is willing to listen to me. Indeed, I wish the earth would open and swallow him up. What a scourge Olympian Zeus raised him to be for the Trojans, great-hearted Priam and his sons. If I could see him on his way down to Hades' halls, I would say my troubles were over." So he spoke, and Hector's mother went into the palace and gave instructions to her waiting women. While these were going round the town to collect the older women, she went down to the scented storeroom where she kept her embroidered robes. These were the work of Sidonian women, whom godlike Paris himself had brought across the sea from Sidon. On the same journey, he escorted highborn Helen back to Ilium. Hecate picked out the longest and most richly decorated of these as a gift for Athene. It had laid underneath all the rest and glittered like a star. With this she set out, and a number of older women hurried along at her side. When they reached the temple of Athene on the town heights, the doors were opened for them by fair-cheeked Theano, daughter of Cissus and wife of horse-taming Antenor, who had been made priestess of Athene by the Trojans. With a loud cry, in which everyone joined, the women lifted their hands to Athene, while fair-cheeked Theano took the robe, laid it over Athene's knees, and prayed to the daughter of great Zeus. "Lady Athene, protectress of cities, celestial goddess, break Diomedes' spear. Bring him crashing headlong down in front of the Scaean gate, and we will sacrifice here and now in your shrine 12-year-old heifers that have never worked. If only you will have pity on the town and on the Trojans' wives and little children." So Theano prayed, but for answer Pallas Athene shook her head. And so the women prayed to the daughter of great Zeus, and Hector made his way to the fine house where Paris lived. Paris had built it himself, using the best workmen to be found in the fertile land of Troy. They built it for him complete with sleeping quarters, hall and courtyard, close to the houses of Priam and Hector on the town heights. There, Hector, dear to Zeus, stepped inside. He was carrying a spear 5 meters long. The bronze point glittered in front of him, and a gold ring clamped the socket tight to the shaft. He found Paris in his bedroom, seeing to his superb armour, his shield and body armour, and examining his curved bow, while Helen sat beside him with her waiting women and supervised their excellent work. Seeing Paris, Hector attacked him sharply. "What do you think you are doing? It doesn't do you much credit to sit and sulk by yourself like this, while our men are falling in action around the town and its steep walls. It's your fault this town flares with the sound and fury of battle, and you would be the first to quarrel with anyone you found shirking the horrors of war. Back into action with you now, before the town goes up in flames." Godlike Paris replied, "Hector, your taunts are justified, nothing more than what I deserve. But let me say something, and you listen and pay attention too. I am not sulking. I have no grudge against the Trojans, but came and sat down in my room to wallow in my grief. However, my wife has just been gently urging me to return to the front, and I think she is right. Victory switches from one man to another, so give me a moment while I arm for battle, or else go on ahead and I will follow. I can soon catch you up." So he spoke, but Hector of the flashing helmet made no reply. Helen now warmly addressed Hector. "My brother-in-law, what a cold, evil-minded slut I am! How I wish that on the very day when my mother bore me, the storm fiend had swept me off into the mountains, or into the waves of the sounding sea, to be overwhelmed before all this could happen. And next to that, since the gods have ordained things to this evil end, I wish I had found a better husband, one with some feelings for the anger and contempt that his fellow men had for him. But as it is, this husband of mine hasn't a brain in his head and never will, though one day he will pay for it if I am not mistaken. But come in now, my dear brother-in-law, and sit down on this chair. No one in Troy bears a greater burden of responsibility for the fighting than you, and all because of me, slut that I am, and Paris's blind folly. Zeus surely has an evil end in store for us, intending us to figure in the songs of people yet unborn. Great Hector of the flashing helmet replied, Helen, you are very kind, but don't ask me to sit down. You will not persuade me. I am already anxious to return and help the Trojans who miss me badly when I am gone. What you can do is hurry this fellow up, and he had better get a move on himself. Then he could catch me up before I leave the town, since I intend to look into my own house to see my house slaves and my dear wife and little boy. I can't tell whether I shall ever come back to them again, or the gods have destined me to fall to the Greeks this very day. With these words, Hector of the flashing helmet took his leave, and soon reached his own welcoming house. But he did not find his white-armed wife, Andromache, at home. She had gone up to the tower on the wall with her child and well-robed waiting women, and was standing there crying her heart out. Failing to find his matchless wife in the house, Hector went to the threshold and said to the serving women, Women, tell me what's happened. Where has white-armed Andromache gone to from the house? Is she visiting one of my sisters, or my brother's well-robed wives? Or has she gone to Athene's shrine, where the rest of the Trojan women with their lovely hair are interceding with that august goddess? A busy serving woman replied, Hector, since you order me to tell the truth, she is not visiting your sisters or your brother's well-robed wives, and she has not gone to Athene's shrine with the rest of the women to pray to that august goddess. She has gone to the great tower of Ilium. She had heard that our men were being ground down, and the Greeks were well on top, so she rushed out like a woman possessed, and must have arrived at the walls. The nurse followed her with the baby in her arms. So spoke the serving woman. And Hector raced out of the house and retraced his steps down the well-built streets. He had crossed the great town and reached the Scaean gate, his route out onto the plain, when Andromache herself, who married him with a rich dowry, came running up to meet him. Andromache was the daughter of great-haired Eetion, the Sicilian ruler, who lived below the woods of Mount Placus in Thebe under Placus. It was his daughter that the warrior Hector had married. Andromache came to meet him, and her waiting woman carried the little boy in her arms, their baby son, and Hector's darling, lovely as a star, whom Hector called Scamandrius, but everyone else called Astyanax, town lord, because his father was one defence of Ilium. Hector looked at his son and smiled, but said nothing. Andromache, bursting into tears, went up to him, put her hand in his, and said, Hector, you are possessed. This determination of yours will be the death of you. You have no pity on your little boy or your luckless wife, who will soon be your widow, when the Greeks kill you in a massed attack. And when I lose you, I might as well be dead. There will be no comfort left when you have met your end, nothing but grief. And I have no father or lady mother either. My father, Eetion, fell to godlike Achilles when he sacked our welcoming town, Cilician Thebe with its high gates. But though Achilles killed Eetion, he did not think it right to strip the body. He cremated him in his ornate arms and built a grave mound above him. And the mountain nymphs, daughter of Zeus who drives the storm cloud, planted elms around it. I had 7 brothers, too, at home. In one day, all of them went into Hades. God-like swift-footed Achilles killed them all while they were looking after their shambling cattle and white sheep. As for my mother, who ruled in Thebe under the woods of Mount Placus, Achilles brought her here with the rest of his spoils, but freed her for an immense ransom, and later she died peacefully in her father's house at the hands of Artemis, who delights in arrows. So, Hector, you are father and mother and brother to me, as well as my strong husband. Have pity on me now, Stay here on the tower, and don't make your boy an orphan and your wife a widow. Rally the Trojans by the fig tree there, where the wall is easiest to scale and the town most open to attack. 3 times already their best men, led by the 2 Ajaxes, celebrated Idomeneus, Agamemnon, Menelaus, and brave Diomedes, have assaulted that point and tried to break through. Someone who knows the oracles must have told them about it, or else they have their own reasons for attacking there. Great Hector of the flashing helmet replied, Andromache, I too have all this constantly on my mind, but if I hid myself like a coward and slunk from the fighting, I would feel nothing but shame before the Trojans and the Trojan women in their trailing gowns. My heart would not be in it either, since I have trained myself always to be a good warrior and to take my place in the front line and try to win glory for my father and myself. But deep in my heart I know well the day is coming when sacred Ilium will be destroyed, together with the people of Priam and Priam himself of the good ash spear. Yet what distresses me is not only the thought of what the Trojans will suffer, or Hecabe herself, or Lord Priam, or my brothers who, for all their numbers and bravery, will be brought down in the dust at enemy hands, but much more the thought of you, when you are dragged off in tears by some bronze-armoured Greek, your freedom gone. I see you there in Greece, labouring away for some other woman at the loom, or carrying water from some foreign spring, Messis or Hyperia, much against your will, unable to do anything about it. There goes the wife of Hector, they will say, when they see your tears. He was the greatest of the horse-taming Trojans who fought it out round Ilium. That is what they will say, and you will feel fresh grief at the loss of the one man who might have kept you free. But may the earth be piled high over my dead body before I hear your cries as they drag you off. With these words, glorious Hector reached out for his boy, but the child shrank back with a cry to the bosom of his girdled nurse, alarmed by his father's appearance, terrified by his bronze helmet with its horsehair plume that he saw nodding frighteningly from the top. His father and lady mother burst out laughing. Glorious Hector quickly took his helmet off and put it all shining on the ground. Then he kissed his dear son, dandled him in his arms, and prayed to Zeus and the other gods. Zeus and you other gods, grant that this boy of mine becomes, like me, preeminent among the Trojans, as strong and brave as I, a mighty ruler of Ilium. May people say, when he comes back from battle, here is a man much better than his father. Let him bring home the blood-stained armour of the enemy he has killed, and delight his mother's heart. With these words, Hector handed the boy into the arms of his wife, who took him to her fragrant bosom, laughing through her tears. When her husband saw this, pity overcame him. He stroked her with his hand and said, Dear heart, I beg you, don't distress yourself too much. No one is going to send me down to Hades before my time, though death itself, I think, is something no man, coward or hero, can escape once he has come into this world. You go home now and attend to your work, the loom and the spindle, and tell the waiting women to get on with theirs. War is men's business, and this war will be the business of every man in Ilium, myself above all. With these words, glorious Hector picked up his helmet with its horsehair plume. His wife set out for home, weeping profusely, with many a backward look. She soon reached the welcoming palace of man-slaying Hector, found many of her waiting women inside, and stirred them all to lamentation. They mourned for Hector in his own house, though he was still alive, thinking he would never survive the fury of the Greeks' assault and come home from the battle. Paris too had not lingered in his high house. Directly he had put on his impressive ornate armour, he hurried out through the town, making the most of his speed. As a sabled horse breaks his halter at the manger where he feeds, and, hooves thudding, gallops off across the fields to his usual bathing place in the sweet flowing river, exultant, he tosses his head, his mane streams in the wind along his shoulders. He knows how beautiful he is, and his feet carry him skimming over the ground to the horse's haunts and pastures. So Paris, Priam's son, resplendent as the shining sun in his armour, came down from the citadel of Pergamus in Ilium, laughing as he ran. He soon caught up with his brother, godlike Hector, just as he was leaving the spot where he had been exchanging intimacies with his wife. Godlike Paris spoke first. "My dear brother, I have been too leisurely and kept you waiting when you wanted to be off, and not come at the time you told me to." Hector of the flashing helmet replied and said, "What a strange man you are. No reasonable man could make light of your performance in battle. You have plenty of courage, but you are too ready to give up and refuse to fight. And it distresses me to hear such shameful things said about you by the Trojans, who are suffering so much on your account. But let's be off. Later we will make up for anything we may have said, if Zeus ever lets us drive the Greeks from our soil and celebrate our freedom with drink offerings in the palace to the everlasting Olympian gods."